So why don't we start by just, I want to know about you. Like, tell me a little bit about yourself and the struggles that you have had before finding this way of eating and finding us.
Florida girl through and through, though. Lived here most of my life. Dad was military. We moved around a lot. Both of my parents are from the north. So settling down in the south, we ate traditional northern foods. Nothing was fried. Everything was baked. And I didn't realize at the time how plant-based we really were. Basically,
when you were growing up, you mean?
Growing up,
Yeah.
Definitely growing up.
Okay.
We had meat maybe once or twice a week. I know always a roast on Sunday, baked beans and hot dogs, Boston baked beans and hot dogs on Saturday nights, and a cheap cut of meat during the week. I grew up like that. I continued eating that way throughout college. And then I met my future husband, and we got married, and it went from there. It started changing from there because I was still making my spaghetti sauce with no meat. I was cooking. I didn't even know what it was. I was cooking rice and beans and vegetables. And the fourth night, he says, "Honey, do you know how to cook meat?" I'm like, "Sure, we're going to have a roast on Sunday."
So he was expecting meat with every meal, not just on Sunday.
Oh my gosh! I'm talking breakfast, lunch, and dinner every meal. Okay. So I more or less adapted to his way of eating, okay. And so we've been married 28 years, and 100 pounds later, I was huge. So much is wrong with me health wise. Let's see. So fast forward to 2007. Doctor had what did he call it? Ablate my thyroid. I have Graves' disease, and he ablated my thyroid, and everything went downhill from there. 2015, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and just last year, 2018, my cholesterol started going up. And January of this year, my doctor wanted to start me on cholesterol medicine, and I said, no way, I'm not going to do it. And this was the third lab he did that the numbers kept creeping up. And I said, all right. So I was dead serious this time. I said, give me 3 months. I said, give me 3 months. I want to change it with diet. I know I can do it. And he says, all right, I'll give you 3 months. And thanks to my friend who she and I met 12 years ago, we started working together. And she was already a clean food dirty girl. And she would talk about it. And I was just like, oh, that has nothing to do with my diet. This is an autoimmune disease. It has nothing to do with my diet. I can eat whatever I want. And so I said, I got 3 months to get my cholesterol down. So she said, so just try it for a month. Just try it for 1 month. So I signed up for 1 month of the meal plans, and that's all I was going to do. I didn't even try the sample meal plan. And so I dove both feet in. I gave up everything and just batch, and but it was amazing food, and I thought, I can do this. So I 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, and I think the third week was a lot simpler. I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is better. And wow, doctor checked my labs 1 month later. 1 month later, all my numbers came down in 1 month. He goes, oh, what are you doing? I said, I'm eating plants. Okay. He says, well, I'd still like to put you on a cholesterol medicine just to protect your heart. I'm like, protect my heart? Doc, the plants are protecting my heart. So he says, I'm going to check your labs in 2 more months. I said, fine. And in 2 more months, they were even lower. Now, let me tell you this, though. My liver enzymes, the AST, ALT, they were in the 80s. I didn't know what that meant, but that was evidently bad. I think the range is 0 to 35. They came down. Well, now my AST and ALT are sitting at 13 and 15. So I'm just amazed at the change. And like I told you in the email, that my cholesterol came down drastically, quickly. I'm thrilled about it. But yeah, no, this has just been the best thing that I've ever done for myself in my life. And of course, I basically switched for my friend because I'm just like, I'm just going to show you that it's not diet related.
Oh, interesting. So you had ulterior motives.
Oh yeah, I just had wanted to prove everybody wrong. It's but then during that first month, I watched Forks Over Knives. I watched another one. I can't remember what it was, but that really opened my eyes,
Yeah.
and it was just incredible. I mean, everything. I have no more body pain either. I've been in chronic pain for years. Taking ibuprofen, getting back injections. It's the pain is gone because there's no more inflammation. There's
Mm.
nothing hurting my joints.
So before you started, you dove right in for various reasons. But before you did, what would a typical day of food look like for you?
I would cook me a big breakfast. Breakfast is my thing. Some people don't do breakfast. I love breakfast. And I would do anything from pancakes and sausage and bacon and eggs or waffles, whatever I was in the mood for, I'd eat. And then my lunches would always be a lunch meat sandwich or a tuna fish sandwich with chips. And I'd count the lettuce and tomato as my vegetables.
Mm-hmm. As a lot of people do. Yep.
Right. I'd count the blueberries on the pancakes. Hey, I'm having fruit.
Yeah.
This is good. Steam a little broccoli with dinner. Hey, I'm good. I got 4 servings in today.
Very typical. Very, very
right.
common. Yep.
Exactly. All the while wondering why, but I'm doing everything that I can to get my numbers down.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
My eyes are open now. So that's what's fantastic about
you can look back and you can see, but that was coming from a place of, you really thought that you were really trying hard, but then, hindsight's 2020, you look back and you're like, wait, there's a big shift. Okay. So breakfast, pancakes, sausage, eggs, lunch, deli meat sandwich, and then dinner.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whatever. I mean, spaghetti, and I am a good cook. I could do anything. Pork chops, you name it, I could cook it. My mama's roast, I loved cooking mom's roast. She taught me how to cook it, and I just let in my cast iron skillet with the potatoes and carrots and onions. I loved it. But the funny thing is, after that first month, and all the cravings stopped. My other friends, I couldn't give up cheese. I couldn't give up dairy. And I don't miss it, especially dairy products, because I realized after about the first 3 months, I realized it's the dairy that was giving me pain. And inflammation and hurting my gut. Now, in 2015, I had 14 inches of my sigmoid colon removed. I had diverticulitis that I didn't know about. They stepped back. He said they went hands up. They stepped back and they go, "How is this woman alive? How is she walking?" And that process took a year from the ER in January to my surgery that November. I got used to the pain, and I just trudged along, still eating the same way, not relating it to diet.
Yeah.
But it was, and it's not to me. I think it was the meat. It was the high concentration of meat and the lack of fiber. People were saying, "Oh, you can't have popcorn or seeds or anything like that."
Yeah.
That wasn't it. I know it was the meat. I know it was the fat causing all that inflammation in my gut.
So what switched for you? Because I know that, you had said like your cholesterol was going up, so they were going to put you on a cholesterol med, but it seemed like there was a lot of red flags prior to that. So what was it like? Where was your mind? What made it possible for you to all of a sudden be like, okay, I'm going to try this?
Well, I'm only 54 and I'm on this regimen of medicines, which did start in 2007 when they ablated my thyroid. But still, that wasn't the wake-up call. The wake-up call was looking at all this medicine and knowing that I did have control over some of this.
So you knew that. So how did you know that? Was it your friends that had kind of talked to you about it? Was it something like, how did you know that?
No, she was real good. She wasn't, she would just sit quietly back, and she would, I'd sit there and complain about my health issues. She never said anything. She'd mention, subtle things like, well, maybe get more plants in your diet. And
so there was some little seeds that she planted.
Oh yeah. Okay. She planted the seeds, and I'd seen mom and dad on Lipitor, and just the way it made them feel fluey and sick like. And I knew I didn't want that. I knew my goal, my ultimate goal once I started this was to get off all my meds.
Mm.
I've come to the realization that that's may not be possible. I know I'll always have to take Synthroid. I'll always have to take that beta blocker. But the other ones, the doses have dropped, and I'm on my way to being off of them. So
Well,
that's my goal. And the weight loss was a bonus. That was just a bonus.
how much have you lost?
Well, at the beginning, I lost 30 pounds. I have gained back 8.
Okay. So, well, yeah, I mean, that, you've been doing this since like earlier this year,
1st.
like beginning. Okay. February 1st. Okay. So, and you think about it, we're now December, end of December. I mean, that's not quite a year. Think about how many years you weren't eating like this.
Right. Right.
That's what people have to keep in mind. And I think, you know, plants are so very, very powerful. Yes. And it all depends on like how, like the body will bring itself back into balance as best it can. But you also have to keep in mind how long you ate the other way and what kind of shape you were in before you started. And so, so individual, you know, it's so individual because your body is different than every single body out there that's not yours. So, you know, I think that if it's going in the right direction, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I look at it too. It took me a long time to get to this point. It's not going to be an overnight fix.
So when you decided to make this switch, like going into it, you were a little bit skeptical, obviously, because you were like, I'm going to show her that it's not diet related. So, but there must have been a part of you that was really committed because you did that long ass batch day and you put in the work and committed to it and you continued on with it. So what were some of the, first of all, did the food taste weird to you in the beginning because you were used to like a really high fat, high salt, high sugar diet?
Did it? No, to me, it did not, because I could taste the food. Mm-hmm. I could taste what an eggplant was supposed to taste like, you know, not covered in heavy sauces or cheeses. Because you got to, I mean, I'm in the South. Everything is covered with sauce, cheese, butter, sour cream, and you can't taste the vegetables. Mm-hmm. So now I'm really tasting broccoli without a cheese on it for the first time. And it was heaven. Mm. It was just delightful. It was light and filling.
So at that point, like a couple of weeks into it, were you feeling like good? Like, okay, your numbers don't count that. Just physically, were you feeling good the first couple of weeks enough to keep going? And were you surprised by it?
I was. I had more energy. I slept better at night. My focus, I could organize myself better during the day, because I knew batching. You know, I had to batch, and then that way, if I didn't batch, I would have food for the week. Yeah, because that does make a difference.
So, talk to me a little bit about like your mindset when you were making this change. Like, were you nervous, apprehensive? I know that you were a little bit critical and not thinking it was going to work so much, but like, where were you at were you excited? Were you like, just tell me your headspace at that time.
I was excited because I knew I needed a change. Mm-hmm. And I'm just the type of person, if I'm going to do something, I go all in. And I have to give it my best shot. That's just who I am. I'm not going to do something half-assed. I just don't. I go all out, whatever I'm doing, whatever job I've held. If I go for it. And I knew I had to give 100%, give this a try, just to see. Because if I didn't, then I would always doubt myself. Well, you didn't give 100%, so how do you know it's not going to work? Mm-hmm. But I gave 100% at the beginning, and I noticed the changes for the positive. And I have slipped, and I paid the price. I paid the price with an upset gut, with especially if I did something 2 days in a row, then I could feel it in my body, in my bones, in my joints.
Joints,
And,
yeah.
and I'm just miserable. And I would say, why do you do that to yourself? You know that this is better. And so then I get back to batching, get back to doing this way of eating.
Yeah. Well, we need those little slips, I think. I mean, a lot of people think, they kind of beat
Yeah.
themselves up for it and I shouldn't have done that. But it's like they're really actually quite therapeutic in a lot of ways and
Right.
educational. But like the better we eat and the more plants we eat, the better we feel. And our body is really operating at this level where it's like, okay, it's working, it's pulling ourselves back into balance. And then when you
Right.
eat something that you used to eat that you might not have gotten an immediate effect from before, it'll hit you
Right.
like all of a sudden, because the thing is we tend to like get used to the pain when we aren't eating like this. It's like,
Yeah.
and then when we remove it and then put that back, it kind of slaps us in the face. And so it's a great reminder.
Yeah. Immediately. It was
Yeah.
immediate.
Yeah.
That's what surprised me. Here I thought it was years and years and years for me to get that way, but it was really, I had built a tolerance to it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then when it was gone, you're like, this is what life should feel like.
You didn't know what you didn't know what you didn't know, and you didn't know how bad you were feeling until that bad feeling was gone. And so there was no way
Right.
you could have known without it going away.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious, like what your doctors think about all of this.
Well, he was impressed, and he really was. He still is, especially because I haven't had to go on cholesterol medicine, and
Yeah.
that the cholesterol numbers are still fine.
So talk about your A1C numbers a little bit. So they have, where were they in February and where are they now? And you're still on medication, right?
Yes.
Like, are you on
Yes.
metformin?
Metformin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. In February, my A1C was 5.9, but they had me on, at that time, I was on 750 milligrams twice a day. And now I'm on 500 once a day.
So the medication has lowered a bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it come January, we'll lower that even more, probably go every other day. And they just like to taper, which is fine. I'll deal with the taper.
Yeah.
I don't like abruptly stopping any medication. The side effects are even worse.
For sure. And it sounds like you were on quite a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it's smart so many people are into like these just flash in the pan, like fad type of diets. And this, what people don't realize is it's not a diet.
No,
it's
not.
It's all about eating, first of all. And what diet is all about eating until you're satisfied. And it's just such a lifestyle change.
Right. And the funny thing is, all 3 pregnancies, I had gestational diabetes.
Uh-huh.
Even, when my first one, when I was 110 pounds, got pregnant with you, I had gestational diabetes all 3 times. All 3 times I was able to control it with diet. Yeah. And that was the best I've ever ate in my life.
Yeah.
And because I went back to the way I grew up eating. Mm-hmm. Without even realizing, I really had to think, and I'm looking back, I have my little diaries where I had to keep track of everything. I'm like, I ate a lot of plants back then.
Yeah.
I ate a lot of whole grains, but it never clicked with me, So I'm like, I'm not pregnant anymore. I can do whatever. Mm-hmm. I wanted to eat healthy for the baby. Gosh, dang it, eat healthy for yourself.
Yeah, those babies need you.
Right.
So what would you tell somebody like who is kind of like thinking about this, or who is just feeling kind of like, their doctor wants them to go on another medication, but they just don't really want to, and they have heard that changing their diet can help? What would you tell somebody?
Oh, and I talk all the time about it, and I've stopped. I used to post when I first started because I was so excited. It's just like anything that I get excited about, I'll share it with the world. Yeah. And so here I am on Facebook. I'm posting the pictures, and people are nice. They were really nice to me. Nobody said anything negative to me about my plants. These are delicious meals. Sometimes they say, "Oh, but I need meat. I can't give up meat," or I can't give up dairy. And some people say, "Well, you do eat eggs, don't you?" No, plant-based plants. And I'll share it with people. Going out to eat has been the hardest thing, so I just don't anymore. Mm-hmm. If I do, I know to take my own salad dressing, and I'll do a salad and a baked potato. Graduation night, I had them give me some mushrooms to put on the baked potato. I had a salad with my dressing. Mm-hmm. but I like sharing this with, I think I counted 8 friends that have signed up with Quick and
Nice.
Dirty Girl. And, and they love it too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and, I mean, I think I'm lucky that I'm not getting any negative from anybody. Um, Everybody's been real supportive, and of course, most people will eat what you cook. You know,
If it's done for them, they mostly will, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, do you miss how you used to eat?
No, not at all. I don't miss any of it. I don't miss dairy. Every now and then I'll miss a piece of fried chicken. And I'm talking Popeyes or some Bojangles. You know, go by the store and you can smell it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So y'all need to figure out those seasonings and maybe teach me how to do it on tofu.
Yes, in the air fryer or something, right? It's never going to be
Yes,
exactly like that, but we can, it's like
right.
the flavor makes a
Yeah,
big difference. Yeah. So you don't
yeah.
really miss it, and you're feeling like,
Mm-mm.
yeah, this is what you're doing, and
Yeah,
I mean, clearly it's helping you.
yeah.
I mean,
Right.
and you can't. I mean, again, like it sounds like you were in pretty rough shape. I mean, it sounds like you had so many
Yeah,
things that were going wrong in your body that it's definitely going to take time, but be patient with it.
yeah,
If things are, I would just say just trust the process
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Right. And my sister even told me, the athlete, she had told me, because when I started swimming and started biking, she told me, you need to change your diet first. She says, change your diet and then work in the exercise.
Mm.
But I'm like, I'll eat the way I want to eat. But doing all that exercise, nothing was happening.
Yeah.
Nothing was happening. And so,
Yeah.
but once I changed my diet, I had more energy and I was seeing results,
Yeah. Well,
and
people
for the
can
better.
still exercise and eat bacon. And I think
Oh,
that's,
right.
and I think, I mean, I agree with your sister. Like, I always encourage people, like get your food, settled, like get your food on track with
Yeah.
all of the plants. And then you're going to be more inclined to naturally want to exercise anyways, because it's
Yeah.
healthier,
Oh,
and
well,
you're
yeah.
in balance. And so I think that it's really sad when I see people getting advice from their doctors, like, okay, well, if you need to lose weight, you just exercise more. And it's like, there has to be that food component involved.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, it sounds like you are on track and enjoying
Yeah.
the food and passionate about all
Yeah.
of this. But this is a process,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a process, and we have to allow ourselves room to like negotiate how we're going to do it. Like, that's it. So,
Yeah.
you're doing great. You're doing amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I am. And, it, yeah, and I'm blessed for the schedule that I do have Sunday afternoons and all day Monday to batch and to just focus on that cooking. And, because if I don't batch, then I come home from work, I have to think about what to eat, and then I don't get to come out here and sew.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
that's all I want to be out here.
Yeah.
This is my great space. This is my happy spot.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be out here just sewing and creating.
Yeah.
And so that's why I have to batch on Mondays.
Yeah.
So I have all my food for the week, and I don't mind eating leftovers. Since it's only me basically eating now,
Yeah.
I'll maybe make 3.
Yeah.
But this week I've picked out 4, and I'm like, no, pick out 3, because I know I'll be eating it for lunch and dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't mind leftovers, especially if it's really good. I'm like,
Well, yeah, it's just easier
yeah,
that way too,
no. And
Yeah.
you know what else, Molly? I've never made noise when I've eaten before. I eat this food and I'm like,
You know that Lindsay's going to love to hear that. No, I know what you mean about the noise though. I mean, I'm eating dinner and I'm like, oh, it's so good. Yum, yum.
yeah,
And I'm like, why isn't anybody, because they're eating their food, and it's like, doesn't it, like, it just brings, it's joyful to eat this way.
right,
It is joyful. That's all there is to it,
right,
So, I'm
right,
I'm so happy for you that you found it, because it seems like it's a
yeah,
natural good fit for you.
right. Oh, it is. And some people say, well, that's good that works for you. I said, but it works for everybody.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that you have a lot more energy now, because I know it seems like you just love life and are full of life. And so good for you for really like, I mean, you've really started a whole new chapter for yourself, and you've given yourself like new life, really.
And that's it. That's it. And
I've had such a fun time talking with you, and I know that you will inspire lots of people to eat all the plants. It's so good.
It is real good. And I'm just so glad. I'm glad for my friend that, told me about Clean Food Dirty Girl. And it's because, I mean, even though I use other websites, I won't mention them, and other cookbooks, it's just something about Clean Food Dirty Girl. It's the umami, I can't say the word, but the flavors are there.
Mm-hmm.
And they make you moan and groan and with delight.
It's true. It's like organic.
It is.
You know what? Because we love what we do, and we have an awesome team, and you can't like, I mean, people who are new to this way of eating, or people who aren't new, who are just in a food rut, like you want lots of flavor and texture and spice, and it's like food is so complex, and if you just have like, here's a plate of steamed broccoli and that's it, like it's not going to be sustainable. And so I think when your food tastes good, like it's going to motivate you and keep you happy to keep doing it.
Right.
So, but thanks for that compliment. It's very kind, and I love hearing that, and I'm really glad that it's helped you on your journey. And thank you again for talking with me. It's been
thank you, Molly.
And I love your she shed. It's awesome.
I'll give you a tour if you're ever this way.
All right. Yes, I have never been to Florida. We are like so far away from each other. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I can't get much farther. But if I'm ever in your neck of the woods, I will definitely let you know.
You have a place to stay, because I do have a guest room.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and have a really, really happy holidays coming up. And thank you for tuning in.
All right. Thanks, Molly.
Bye.
Bye.